What's up, y'all? What's good? Welcome to the What Up Though Show. It's your boy Dame D, and I am back. What's good, y'all? Happy New Year. Happy 2026. You know, uh, just checking in, chiming in. You guys see the topic. We're gonna be conversating that. That's gonna be a good discussion, a good topic tonight. We're gonna be doing that around 8 o'clock. We're gonna have a real talk with Big Dave. We're gonna be kind of simultaneously doing it. From his channel and my channel at the same time. So, but yeah, the title is "How Long Is Too Long for an Able Body to Be Out of Work?" That's the discussion that we're going to be having tonight. So we need for you guys to make sure you like, subscribe, and share. Definitely make sure you share this title so it can get out. We're definitely welcome for many of you people, many people to come on and give their opinion, get their comments about that discussion. Because you have all types of situations for why a man or a woman may be out of work. You know what I mean? Uh, so we're just going to be talking about the different time periods and what you think may be a time efficient enough for a man or a woman. But mainly we're going to be talking about, well, we'll keep it basic. Keep it on an even playing field. We'll say a man and a woman. You know, what's a time sufficient, a time frame, I should say, for that man or that woman, to be able to find a job, maybe like after losing a job, because we were talking about this discussion, this actual topic. Certain motherfuckers just don't want to get out there and work. You have motherfuckers that's been, lingering around out of work for months and, sometimes years that, baby, shit, I've been out there looking, and sometimes, it just depends on, like I was talking about, we're going to be doing this discussion with Real Talk with Big Dave, it depends on the background, I understand with felons, it may be hard, for them to find work, in the beginning, but, like I was saying, conversating, with Real Talk with Big Dave, really, and nowadays there's no excuse for no man to be up out of work. There's too many avenues and ways for a person to be able to generate, and make money, and we'll discuss that a little bit more in tonight's show, but like I said, I want to come on for a second and wish everybody a happy new year, a happy 2026. Let me make sure I can be heard on my volume and everything, and I can be heard first and foremost. So give me 1 second. I did not check that yet. Normally I do that. But as I do that, like I said, I just want to make sure, I just want to say Happy New Year to each and every one of you guys. Okay, see, they won't let me come in from that way. So I'll go over to Facebook and see if Facebook will allow me to hear the volume. Okay, so I can be heard over here on Facebook. So here we go. Okay, so I'm gonna come out of that. So, but yeah, that's the topic. A great conversation. What's how long is too long for an able body, person to be up out of work? You know what I mean? You have different circumstances. In my opinion, why any man or woman could be out of work. You have disabled people and things like that can't work. And that's understandable. You know what I mean? But just as an able body, there's no reason for a motherfucker to be laying around out of work unless he just don't want to work. You know what I mean? So, and that's the question tonight. And we won't, and I won't get off into too many details or whatnot. I'm just coming on, wishing everybody a happy new year. Hopefully everybody had a great new year. So just waiting on a few people to check in and chime in. The comment section is open. You guys are more than welcome to come in and discuss. Just come on in. We're not going to talk. We can discuss it for a little bit, but like I said, we're going to be doing the show tonight with Real Talk with Big Dave. We're going to be discussing that. Conversation tonight, and it'll be a great conversation. Because a lot of people can relate to this topic. It's people out of work now. You know what I mean? So they can relate to that. So that's definitely a conversation, a topic we're going to be discussing. But yeah, what's going on out there in the field. Hopefully everybody had a safe, New Year's last night. If you're watching this, you made it to 2026. So we made it to another year. Yep. So that's always an excellent thing. He woke us up, so we made it to another day. So that's always a blessing. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I want to give a shout out to each and every one of you guys that subscribe to the channel over the few years we've been doing this. We try to do this as much as possible. I do work a full-time job, so I do this sparingly, in my spare time. So I try to do it as much as I can. I'm still in the midst of trying to learn everything, trying to learn all of my equipment, trying to learn my editing and things like that. So I want to thank everybody who's been riding with your boy along the way. And I got something else that I want to kind of do too, coming into 2026. I've been talking with my wife about that, so I kind of want to try to put that into fruition if I can. So I see we got a few people watching. If you are not a subscriber to the channel, please make sure you hit that subscribe button. But the topic that we're going to be discussing tonight is how long is too long for an able body to be out of work. We're going to be discussing that live with Real Talk with Big Dave. And that's a great topic. Like I said, it's a lot of people that's out of work right now. It's a lot of people that's probably laid off out of work, but that's not out of work. You laid off is laid off, but yeah, I think that's going to be an excellent conversation, a good topic, because both men and women can relate to that. So like I said, hopefully everybody had a safe and a great New Year last night, bringing in the New Year last night, I should say. I've done my share of partying and getting out. Me and my family, we went ahead dinner, and I believe we were back in the house by maybe before 10 o'clock. Yep. So I did all my little partying here at the house. I really don't do too much on the New Year's. I just try to stay in and be safe and just try to bring it in with, those who I've been bringing it in with all year. You know what I mean? And don't get me wrong, there's nothing wrong with getting out, partying, having a good time. But, sometimes, especially like last night, the weather was bad. It was snowing. I don't know what areas you guys were in, but, where in my area, it definitely was coming down a little bit, but it was kind of raining, and then it was going to turn into, and I told my wife, I'm like, man, if the temperature drop anymore, it's going to be bad out here with the black ice. So hopefully, excuse me, I'm a little bit out of breath from coming down these stairs and things like that. But hopefully everybody was safe. Hopefully everybody made it out of 2025 and made it into 2026. You know what I mean? Safe and sound. Yep, it definitely was a blessing to make it to a new year, because like I said, a lot of people probably didn't make it to 2026, and hopefully for those who make New Year's resolutions, you can stick with your resolutions. Me personally, I don't make resolutions. I just try to, just be the better me, be a better man, a better person than I was the year before or the day before. It's hard. I'm not going to say it's hard, but you just got to try to do the right things and just try to be the best person you can, and that's what I'm going to do. Mainly I want to try to, focus more on, finances and my portfolio and just getting a lot of things back and just getting a lot of things in order that, that I should have been gotten in order, I should say. So pretty much it's just trying to organize myself. That's a better word. What I'm going to try to do is just try to organize my life a little bit better. That's it. Yeah. So, I'm not going to, I don't make resolutions, because resolutions can be broken and, and then it just kind of put like, I'm not going to say put like a weight on you, but I mean, but trying to keep that. I just think if you just go about your life and just try to do the right things and live right, you will be okay. And you will be able to, do the things you need to do and suffice at your resolution. But yeah, man. I need for you guys to like, comment, subscribe, and share. Let me know how your new year been going thus far. You know, it's January 1st. It's the first of the year. How's everybody day been going? I know a lot of people is probably I don't know if things are open today. You know, I know a lot of people. If so, I know probably a lot of people is going to be shopping. You know, because I think this is when the bigger deals are going on right about now. You know, after Christmas, after the New Year. So so a lot of stores probably still have a lot of the 25 things that they're probably discounting 50% off and things like that. So a lot of people are probably out shopping and about. You know, what's today? Thursday. So yeah, I don't know, Black Friday. Oh, that was on Thanksgiving, but yeah, this Friday is probably gonna be this weekend. Friday leading up to the weekend is probably gonna be a lot of shopping. Excuse me. Yep. So like I said, I want to say what's up to everybody out there on Facebook, YouTube, and Instagram. You know, we are live on all three platforms. Matter of fact, let me go back over here. I'm gonna go back over here to Facebook to see who's all over there because right now I'm on YouTube watching it. Yep. So let me know how you guys' new year been going. Let me know what you guys did last night, where y'all partied at. You know. Let me know how you guys' new year was. Yeah, like I said, I just we went out, had dinner, had a drink, and then I was back home maybe by 10 o'clock. Yeah, and did the countdown and all that. Had a drink and shit probably was knocked out by 2 o'clock. Yep. So I had a good night. I enjoyed my night. Like I said, I was out with the family. We had dinner and just came back home and chilled out and watch the countdown. Yeah, but like I said, we're gonna have a great conversation tonight. I can't wait. It's been a minute. Since we collab, Real Talk with Big Dave. That's my dog. We always have great conversations. We gotta see DJ Shawnee D. If you are watching, we gotta bring you on tonight's show. Maybe if you can get your homegirl to come in too, that'd be good. I want to try to get as many females. And this was what Dave wanted too. We want to try to get as many females on the show for that conversation. And get their opinion. Like how long. It's too long for and we're just gonna say for a man, for a nigga to be up out of work, laying around out of work. You know what I mean? Because like I said, you have your exceptions where a person may be disabled and he can't work. That's understandable, but you just have some motherfuckers who just don't want to work. You know what I mean? So how long is too long for for you to put up with a motherfucker who just don't want to work? You know what I mean? Who have no, and I can see if like I said, if you just get out and it's hard for you to, if you're a felon and it's kind of hard for you to find a job, in the beginning, but that's no excuse for that neither. You know what I mean? Because you have multiple jobs now in these times and these days that accept felons. Great jobs. So that's no excuse anymore. So that's what we're conversating about tonight. It's going to be a good topic. If you can't join the show, give me your the comment section is open. Give me your opinion. Give me your thoughts on that. What do you think? What do you think is long enough or is too long for an able-bodied man to be up out of work? You know what I mean? Because one thing about being out of work and then just not having no motion, I can see if you in between the job looking for work and can't find the work, and you just waiting to work, but just sitting around and not doing nothing, not having no motion. You watching your peoples get up to go to work and you just ain't doing shit. You got a lot of motherfuckers that sit around and do that. So that's that's what we're gonna be conversating about. That's what I'm talking about right now. But we're gonna have a live panel discussion tonight, talking about that. I need for you guys to like, comment, subscribe, and share. If you're not a subscriber to the channel, please make sure that you hit that subscription button on your way in, or on your way out. But definitely make sure that you share this. I definitely want this to be shared so we can get as many people's opinion on this topic as we can tonight. Yeah. Yeah, so I'll go back to and I'll finish this up and then I'll go back to the new year, but yeah, you got a lot of people just out here, man, that young and old. I won't even blame it on the new generation. You have a lot of young and old niggas that just don't want to work. You know what I mean? So and I can understand if you want to build something, have your own job, build something for yourself, have your own job, but it's just some motherfuckers out here who just don't want to work at all. Yeah. Yeah, but the comment section is open. Give me your comments. Tell me what you think. How was your new year, man? Hopefully everybody made it. That I know and that I love, and all my subscribers made it into the new year. You know what I mean? That's what it's about. Because a lot of people didn't, so it was blessed to wake up this morning. It was blessed to be able to come on here and say, what up, though, and talk to you guys for a hot second. Because we got a lot of, family and friends that did not make it into the new year, unfortunately. Yep. Yep. So yeah, man. I had a great New Year. I was safe. Like I said, I had a good time with my family. We just chilled, had dinner, chilled out. I was back home before 10 o'clock. Yep. Let me go over here on YouTube and see if you guys make sure that's I can hear it over there. Excuse me. I don't know what's going on. Okay. What up, though? All right, just trying to make sure I can be heard and everything. So, but yeah, yeah, that's going to be a good conversation, a great topic tonight. How long is too long for an able-bodied, man to be up out of work? You know what I mean? And that's a great discussion because you have a lot of, and I'm not, like I said, I'm not going to say young folks because you got a lot of old niggas that just don't want to get up and go to work. So how long would you put up with, a man not going to work? So like I said, DJ Shiny D, I'm gonna get at you. I definitely want you to come on here and have a female's point of view. It's going to be a good conversation, a good topic. Make sure you guys hitting that subscribe button. Make sure you share this. I want many people as possible that want to come on. If you want to come on tonight, make sure that you put your you can DM me your email or you can put it in the comment section now. It's going to be a good conversation, to bring in the new year, because there's a lot of you niggas that's out of work right now. Yeah. Yes, sir. So, and over here, man, we link up with people that can possibly put you to work. It's going to be a good show, So at the end of the show, we normally try to come up with advice or solutions for whatever situation or topic we're having. So, and that's what I'm going to try to do. I'm going to try to give out some, some information to young men or women or older men and women to be able to go out there and find a job, tonight. And I'll do that in tonight's show. Because no one should be out of work. It's too much going on out here with the like I said, and I'll save my story for tonight's show, but it's just too much stuff out here for people to be able to do you know, in between jobs, I should say. There's too much stuff out here that you can do, that you can pick up until you're able, to find a 9 to 5, I should say. Yeah. Yeah, man. So hopefully everybody had a great new year. Hopefully everybody was safe last night, because I know them sharks was out there, them police, them boys. A lot of people call them 12. But in general, I just say the popos, the police, that's what we say from Detroit. But them young folks say 12. But the police was out there, man. I know they was out there. They out there. They got a quota, so I know they was out there trying to catch drunk drivers last night. So hopefully you guys was safe. Hopefully you care about your L's. You know what I mean? Because that's another way motherfucker be up out of work with no license. It's a lot of you motherfuckers riding around with no license. Yeah. That was probably drunk last night, so hopefully everybody was safe last night. Tell me how your new year went last night. Put it in the comments section. What was you at last night? What was jumping? How did you bring it in? A lot of people go to church, and that's a good thing, just bringing it in a safe environment, getting good information, just good vibes, it ain't nothing wrong with that. It ain't nothing wrong with how doing it how you want to do it. Ain't nothing wrong with going to the club, just as long as you're being responsible and being safe. Not putting your life at risk. No one else life at risk. You know what I mean? Just hopefully everybody made it home safe. No one got tickets and things like that. I don't know why this thing is so zoomed up. Yeah, but yeah, that's going to be a good conversation. How long is too long for an able body to be out of work? We're going to be discussing that tonight. Around 8 o'clock. I'll definitely put it. Put the information out in the comment section tonight. That way, you guys will know. And like I said, if you guys want to come in, whoever wants to come in is more than welcome to come in. We'll definitely put your email in the comments. If you don't want to do it that way, DM me. You can put it in my DM. Damon Jefferson over on Facebook. And then so if you're watching this on YouTube, just go over to Facebook and you can DM me that way. Yeah, but yeah, man, that's going to be a good conversation because, like I said, it's a lot of people, it's a lot of you motherfuckers that's out of work right now, that needs to be watching this, and your girl need to be watching this too, because there's just a lot of motherfuckers just out there that's just lazy and don't want to get up and go to work. You know what I mean? What motherfucker don't want no money? To me that's a bum. Who don't want to get out there and get it and get no money? Because that's crazy. You ain't getting no. I ain't gonna say no pussy or no woman if you ain't getting money. But damn, if you ain't getting no money, like, that's the old saying. You ain't getting no honey. My cousin BJ3 will say something like that. If you ain't getting no money, you ain't getting no honey. Shout out to BJ3. Make sure y'all get in contact with BJ3, for your financial planning and that life insurance. That's something that's important too, that we're definitely going to make sure that we do a lot more talking about with BJ3 in this upcoming year. So make sure you go over there and get in contact with BJ3. We've put his information out there multiple times, so and we'll do it again. But yeah, make sure that you guys get ahead of your financial planning. Make sure that you guys get your life insurance and ahead of that. We talked about that. That's an important thing to have and to stay up on. If your life insurance. To make sure that we out here, leaving things behind for our children and our loved ones, and just making sure that we're able to put ourselves away, gracefully, I should say. But like I said, that's going to be a good conversation tonight. How long is too long for an able-bodied man to be up out of work? Like I said, it's a lot of you niggas that's up out of work now. When I say niggas, that's black or white. I ain't talking about One Pacific color. All of you. So comment me now. I would love to hear your opinion. I would love to hear your thoughts on that question, on that topic. How long is it too long for an able-bodied man to be up out of work? Especially if you don't have any disabilities or nothing like that. It's a lot of motherfuckers that's out here that just don't want to go to work. That just don't want to get out here and get it. Yeah. I hate when they do this damn thing. They got to take this little screen thing off. But yeah, man, it's just a lot of people out here it's a lot of motherfuckers out here that don't want to get up and go to work. And I understand that. I don't want to get up and go to work every day. There'll be a lot of days that I don't want to get up and do this shit, but if you have responsibilities, if you want to have things and have responsibilities, those responsibilities are going to make your ass get up and go to work. Point blank, period. What type of motherfucker sits around and does nothing? You know what I mean? That's a bump. So I'm sure don't no woman want to be around no man that's not doing anything, So, that type of man really ain't, got nothing going on. He ain't got no motion going on. I don't want to be around him. You got to be doing something. You know what I mean? Yep. So that's the conversation that we're going to have tonight. We're going to have that with Real Talk with Big Dave. Make sure you go over there on his channel and subscribe. Make sure that you go over there and check out all his content. He put out great content. Good. That's my dog. It's a good show. Overall. So make sure you go over there and hit that subscribe button. He'll be thankful for that. But we're definitely going to be talking about that. It's going to be a great conversation. I would love to hear your comments, hear your opinion. But how was everybody New Year? 2026 is here. It was a blessing. We all woke up this morning. If you're watching this, that means you woke up. I get my camera back on focus. But yeah, what's going on out there, everybody? Facebook in the house. How long we been live? Okay, 27 minutes. Yep. So how was everybody night? Comment down below. Let me know what was jumping last night. Where did you go? Was you with family? Did you bring it in with family and friends? Was you out at the club? Was you at church? Or was you just chilling at home? Most and foremost, hopefully everybody was just safe. If you went out or wherever you went, you got home safe and sound. That's what it's all about. So it's a new year. That's a great thing, man. It's all about trying to do, trying to do things better than what you did last year. Trying to be a bigger and a better person. Just trying to come up with new ideas, trying to expand my horizons. I'm just trying to do a little bit more things that I was not doing in 2025. Like I said, I just want to be a little bit more organized this year on top of, my business a little bit more. I'm just trying to stay a little bit more active and things that I was not active in last year. Yep. So, like I said, I don't do any New Year resolutions. Like I said, I just try to be a better me, a better version of me. We've been on here for a half an hour. Time just be flying. I just want to come in here and do a promo on tonight's show, and we've been on here for half an hour. But it's all good. It's a new year, and I just want to come in and just wish everybody a happy new year. And just give my blessings to everybody. out there, and give my thanks to everybody who supported me, on the What Up Though show over there on my platform. Uh, I'm gonna give a shout out to Londell Bright, shout out to Q Nitty, shout out to Big Hen, BJ3, Real Talk with Big Dave, DJ Shiny D. Who else, man? Those are a lot of people that supported me over there on the What Up Though show. East, how could I for East Skeezy? Um, everybody who supported me. I want to give you, a shout out and definitely a thanks. Because like I said, man, we are approaching, a lot of our goals that we set out to do over here on the What Up Though show. Even and on Facebook too. So I want to give a shout out to everybody over there on Facebook, all my Facebook followers and friends, family and friends and followers, I should say. So I'm gonna give a. Yeah, man. So I don't think I'm gonna be on here any more longer. I just want to come in and conversate about tonight's conversation. We're probably gonna try to do it around 8 or 9 o'clock. Like I said, I'll come back in and put the time frame or the actual time that we're gonna do it. We say 8 o'clock. It's the time that we're probably gonna do it. I know a lot of people are probably going to be watching a lot of these games that's going to be going on. So I was trying not to, go up against, things like that. So I want as many people as possible to come in and give their opinion. I think it's going to be a good conversation. I think it's going to be a great show, for people to come in and give their opinion, their thoughts on this topic at hand. So and then another thing, like I said, I want to come in and wish everybody a happy new year, a happy 2026. Yeah, it may look like, well, I am looking down, but I'm looking at the screen you guys are looking at. But that's why if you see me looking down, or may look like I'm looking down, is because I'm looking at the screen and everything else that's going across. But yeah, I want to wish everybody a happy new year, happy 2026. Hopefully, you can get everything accomplished that you set your mind to this year. I'm definitely going to try to do that myself. Yeah. Yeah, and I want to, like I said, I want to give a shout out to all my Facebook family and friends, all my subscribers, everybody who rock with me over on Facebook, over on YouTube, the What Up Though show, over there on Instagram. I just want to thank everybody who supported your boy. And that's what it's about, man. I'm just trying to entertain, put out a message, and give my opinion and my thoughts on subjects and different conversations. You know what I mean? So we getting better along the way, man. Like I said, this was a dream a few years ago, something that I wanted to do. Not really knowing too much about the whole podcasting thing. I went out, bought my equipment. And I've definitely come a long ways, man. And I'm gonna do a show about that too. And just show like from where I started to where I'm at now, and just learning, my equipment, YouTube, and just how to work everything. It's still a lot of stuff that I'm still learning how to work. Editing and things like that. So I'm on my way, man. It's not. A lot of people think it's easy. It is not. So I want to give a shout out to all the podcasters out there, man, that's doing it. That's making money. Because it's not an easy thing to get on the microphone and just be able to talk and keep people's attention, because most people, most people want attention span is not, shit, maybe 10 seconds, and that's what I need to start doing too is a lot of shorts. I like to talk about a lot of, things that go on around the country. And I like to do a lot of live talks and things like that, so it's really about making the conversation interesting and catchy, just having a good conversation, for people to be able to join in with you, and that's what I try to do. You know what I mean? So, and you guys can also, like I said, comment too down below. Let me know if there's any topics that you want me to talk about, or or if you want to come on and talk about a conversation, just get in contact with your boy. I'm always, my platform is free to, to everyone. Yeah. But yeah, man, like I said, this was something that I wanted to do. Maybe, and before it got big, before everybody started doing it, I just took off late, and then I just wanted to, just have some of the equipment when I first started, and then just learning everything, because it's a lot to it, and like I said, I'm gonna do a show about that, and I'll show you, you know, what I've built, my with my equipment and my little studio, and things like that. I'll give you guys an inside look. I got a lot of pictures out there, of what I built with the equipment, with the studio and things, what that look like. But like I said, it's a lot to it, man. With with this, it's more to it, because like I said, I'm operating cameras, I'm looking at, the things that you see go across the screen, the effects and things like that, So it takes a lot to be able to do all that, conversate and run a show. I don't know what's going on with my voice. I need all. What's a little bit more scratchy than normal, but yeah, man. I enjoy conversating. I love doing this. I try to do it as much as possible. Yep. So, but yeah, man. It's more to it than just coming on here, hitting record, with your phone, because I and I don't have a problem with using my phone. Most people start off with their phone, but I wanted to start off with, the whole setup with the with the cameras and everything, But I also use my camera too, sometimes when I go live. So there's nothing wrong with that, at all. Because I'm trying to see when I first started. Yeah, I started with my camera. And tried to come with everything in the beginning, but you don't need nothing but to start your podcast. But really, is a camera phone, I should say. Yeah, and you can get it started then, man, and just start with your content and just trying to and build from there. And that's what I've been doing, and just trying to perfect my craft along the way. I'm still trying to. It's a lot of stuff with my mixer, that I need to learn to be able to bring and add to the show. So it's a lot to it. I got a lot of equipment that, and then a lot more equipment that I want to add to the show to make the show better. I had to bring Geek Squad in to actually, help me with a lot of stuff. I brought friends in that knew a lot about, computers and stuff, but you can only get at we've only if you messing with cameras and stuff like that, you can only get so far if you don't know that much about hooking things up. So we got stuck. So I had to hire Geek Squad to come out here and set me up, which was a good thing, because I met a good guy who taught me a lot of stuff, with the editing, with my setup, with my cameras, because there's a lot of issues that, that I've ran into, over the years that, it would cost you money. I had to buy a membership at through Geek Squad, so I had, a membership. So if I ran into any problem, I would be able to call them out, but it was problems that I ran into that that I actually had to fix and solve on my own. But it was the knowledge that I got through, my guy at Geek Squad. So I want to give a shout out to him too. But like I said, man, I love talking. I love coming on here, interacting with you guys. It is not easy. And what I probably will do when I do the other show, I'll hook up my other camera and I'll be able to show you guys everything, and my total setup. Yeah, like I said, there's a lot of more things that I'm going to add to it to make everything better. And I'm trying to do a lot of different things this year. And try to be a lot more. What's the word I'm looking for? Just try to be more persistent. But like I said, my job definitely demands a lot of me. So, with my hours, and then a lot of days, I work second shift. So a lot of days it's late when I get off. So I'm still trying. I got to build my West Coast fan back up, because most of my East Coast followers, mostly everybody is damn near going to sleep. So a lot of people that do be watching it at nighttime be a lot of West Coast folks. And I'm not gonna say East Coast don't watch it, because I'm I still be up late. Which I told myself I'm gonna start doing a better job at getting more sleep. Shout out to Willie F. Taylor. Hold on for a second. Oh, you know what? I don't have to wait. Yeah, but it's going to be a good conversation tonight. Like I said, everybody is welcome. Leave. You can either DM me your email, or you can leave your email in a comment, and I'll be able to send you a link to the show. That way, you're able to come in and join us live. Be live right here where I am on the panel. Hold on for 1 second. Testing. Hello?
Damon.
Yeah, I'm live on the show. What's going on?
Olivia wants to come back. Will you bring her back tomorrow, or she come down?
I don't know. I don't know how the weather gonna be. So I'm gonna, depending on how the weather is. So let me call you back.
She wants.
Yeah. So I kind of lost my train of thought. But we were talking about just podcasting and all that. But yeah, man, there's more to it than just what a lot of people think, just coming on recording. You have to be able to, especially if you're working with multiple cameras and things like that, and the mixer and stuff like that. So it's I'm not going to say I thought it was going to be easy, but it's a lot more difficult than what I thought it was going to be in the beginning. So I definitely respect all the people out there that's doing their thing, perfecting their craft, because that's what I'm doing right now. I'm perfecting my craft, I'm going to, trying to take it up to the next level, a step at a time, and that's what I'm doing. So again, I want to thank everybody who's been who's been riding with me along the way. It's definitely been a learning, it's definitely been a learning thing, a learning curve, trying to learn all the tools and instruments that I got, and then, and just learning all the different platforms, accessories and things that come with using those platforms, I should say. So I went from using Zoom to I still use my OBS that's on the computer. A lot of people, are familiar with that. I also use YouTube, which I'm on YouTube, Facebook, and Instagram Live right now. So So just trying to, just continue trying to perfect my craft, you know, um, and just interact and just network with people along the way because that's what it's about. It's about perfecting your craft, trying to get better at what you do, and also networking. You definitely have to get out there and network with people. That's what it's about. It's definitely about you definitely want to network with folks. Because I learned so much. Just with networking with folks. And it's gonna be mistakes along the way. Because I made multiple mistakes along the way that that I have to correct going forward too. You just got to stay at it. Continue just to stay present. Bringing content to your platform. You know, all the time. Pretty much just trying to stay relevant and just bringing content. To your platform. But yeah, man. Hopefully everybody had a great New Year. I definitely enjoyed my night last night, and enjoyed my New Year. With family, so it was a good time. Like I said, everybody though, I'm past my prime where I feel like I need to be out, partying at the clubs and things like that. And like I said, there's nothing wrong with with being out there hanging out. It's just about like I said about being responsible. You know, when you're doing things like that, a lot of people, be out drinking excessively. And that put yourself and your life at risk and others. So that's the main thing about New Year's Eve, and things like that. It's just trying to be responsible and just bring the year in, alive and healthy and safe. Yep. So hopefully, that's what a lot of us did. It's brought the new year in alive, healthy, and safe. Yep. So yeah, man, it's gonna be a good conversation, a good show tonight. Hopefully, you guys are able to join us. Wow, it's been an hour already. Hope you guys are able to come over there and join us in tonight's conversation. I would love to hear your thoughts, your opinion. How long is too long for an able body to be out of work? Because like I said, it's a lot of you niggas that's probably watching right now. That's out of work. That should be working right now. And that's able body. Like I said, it's not just one color. When I say niggas, it goes to motherfucker who just laying around that's not trying to get out and get it or have some type of motion going on. Because like I said, earlier, it's too much going on out here nowadays for no one not to be working. Everyone should be out here with some type of motion going on. Yep. Yep. So, like I said, I'm going ahead and end it. We're not going to go on too much longer. I just want to really come on here real quick and just talk about tonight's show and just, come on here and just say Happy New Year to everybody and thank everybody who's been rocking along with your boy Dame D. And then, like I said, I want to try to do something new too. I want to try to do something, new with my son, and we're going to talk about that being, a father over 50. I want to know how many of you are, how many are you are dads over 50 out there? 50 or older. So, I want you to definitely leave that in the comment section because I definitely want to talk about that being a father over 50 or at 50. So that's an interesting conversation, interesting topic. And I think that's going to be a interesting conversation, interesting show. I'm gonna bring my son in, interact with him, just kind of pretty much do it like kind of record like a little bit of our daily lives, and that's going to be interesting. Most of it'll probably be like during the weekends. When I do that, but it's going to be interesting. Yeah. So that's what it's about, man. Just trying to stay active and just trying to do new things, in 2026. Yeah, but tonight's show is definitely going to be great. We're going to be working with Real Talk with Big Dave. Make sure that you go over there and subscribe to his channel, Real Talk with WIT Big Dave. We're going to be discussing that topic during that show tonight. It's going to be an interesting show. And like I said, going forward, I want you guys to comment down below. Give me your thoughts. Give me your opinion on tonight's show. How long is too long for an able-bodied man to be up out of work? Because like I said, it's a lot of you niggas that's laying around that's out of work right now. So how long is it too long for, a man not to be up out of work? Because I understand I've been there before. I've been out of work, but I wasn't the kind of motherfucker that sat around and waited, on some shit. I stayed active, and trying to find work, and even when I didn't find a job, I had a little, I got hustle in me. Some of you motherfuckers just got no motion, no hustle, just really don't want to work. So we're gonna talk about that. We're gonna hear, what other people think, not just my opinion, my thoughts. I want to you guys' opinion, your thoughts on, on that topic. I think it'll be a great show, and then at the end of the show, normally, like I said, we try to have some type of solution for the problem, so, I'll try to put out some information, about certain jobs that may be hiring, especially, for fellas too, because like I said, a lot of people, and I understand what, and it's hard for a lot of men, in certain situations, you can have a person getting out of prison, out of jail that may have felonies that, it may be hard starting off in the beginning, but trying to find a job. But, nowadays that's really not an issue neither, because there's a lot of jobs out here that do hire felons now, so that's a great thing, that should, what we're going to do a show on that too, on why jobs would exclude or, try to not hire a felon, knowing that, everyone needs to get out here and and work, and be able to generate money, so that's going to be a good conversation too, why at one point most of these jobs did not, they made it hard for a felon to try to get a job, so it's a lot more lenient now. A lot of more jobs are accepting to hire felons now. So and that's a good thing, and it's an excellent thing, because it helps with the crime rate being down, because what good is a felon getting out and not being able to get back out here, and be able to generate and make money and be able to come back home, and to be able to, go and get a job, because that used to be excuses with, a lot of motherfuckers not getting a job, because they were a felon. But, most jobs has opened up, to, welcoming felons back into the workforce, into the job force. And that's a great thing. You know what I mean? Because everyone has made a mistake in their lives, and you definitely deserve, a second chance on, trying to find employment, so that's something that should never be, over with, held back from you from trying to find employment or trying to work. So that's going to be a good conversation. Like I said, we're going to be chopping it up with Real Talk with Big Dave on that conversation. Yeah, but I need for you guys to like, comment, subscribe, and share. Give me your thoughts on that. How long do you think is too long for an able-bodied person to be an able-bodied man to be up out of work? You know what I mean? Just not wanting to work. And like I said, I can understand if you're in between jobs, looking for a job. That's understandable. But if you just a motherfucker just been sitting around, laying around that ain't been doing shit, you know what I mean? Most women won't, put up put up with that, but it's a lot of women that will, that's laying around that, got a nigga that ain't working and they ain't doing shit, ain't got nothing going on. You know what I mean? So my question to you is, how long is too long for that nigga to be laying on the couch out of work? Yes, sir. The word of the day should be job. J-O-B. But no, that's like I said, it's going to be a great conversation. I just bring it in, chopping it in, wishing you guys, a happy new year. Happy 2026. Hopefully everybody brought it in safe and sound. But we're not going to hold it up too long. I don't have anything else to add. Like I said, if you guys want to join the conversation tonight, put your email in the DM, or you can leave it in the comment section. We'll definitely bring you in, because I want to allow everybody to be able to come in and join this conversation with us tonight. So like I said, I don't have anything else to add. It's another one. It's your boy Dame D, and I am out. Peace.